Uh, so what's going on in the vinyl community? Again, I'll put the link up if you'd like to get on screen and just chat. That's fine. Definitely curious to hear. I got my mono box set by the Stones today from Amazon. It was down to $291 after being like $450 when it came out. So, in I guess January, late January, they actually did a decent job of boxing it. It looks like it actually was boxed, from the factory, and then they put that box in another box. So, Wyoming Dave, I wonder who that is. Oh, he's getting his camera all situated here. Let me give him a chance. Otherwise, just let me know when you're ready. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll bring you in. Yeah, I thought it was a good price actually. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Oh, excuse me. Okay, here.
Okay. Hey, Jerry. Cool. So, any review of the Doors' greatest hits?
I'm kind of slow. I haven't listened to it all the way through yet, but
Okay.
Sounds pretty good so far.
Yeah, the mixes are a little different. They're just a little. There's certain instruments a little more precise. A lot of the quads are that way. Hey, Music Sanctuary, how you doing? Yep, there you go. It's a good one. And like I said, I found a stereo version of that, and it sounds really good as well. It's a fold down mix, so it's.
I have the Doors' first 3 albums also.
Okay.
Waiting for the Sun, Strange Days, and the Doors original pressings. So
yeah, that's nice. Nice. Yeah, I guess I liked them for their hits. I didn't really buy their albums, to be honest with you, and why I don't know exactly. I can't tell you. But anyway, it just ended up that way.
I like the long version of The End and Light My Fire, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and they have the long version on that album, not the short one. So
true.
Not the whacked one from the radio edit. Mm-hmm. And of course, they have the full Riders on the Storm as well, which you got to have the full Riders on the Storm.
I'll have to get right on and listen to the whole thing. I know.
Yeah, no, it's a great headphone album. I can tell you that right now. It's really a good headphone album. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you start talking about your stuff. I just want to say our snow's finally melting more here in central Wyoming.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's don't mean to cuss, but it's been fucking cold up here. Sorry.
Yeah. Well.
Oh well.
Yeah. Well, it's spring just sprung, so you're a little bit of a wind down now. It was like 70 today, I guess here.
I'll take that over. We got up to high 40s today anyway.
There you go. Well, there you go. Well, that's enough to get her started on the melting, Yeah, well, it's more a matter of, safety and that kind of stuff that's most important. And it melts too fast if you have too much and you start getting flooding. So there's no.
Yeah, we live not too far from Yellowstone. Well, not close, but Yellowstone Park's west of us.
Mm-hmm.
We did get some kind of flooding, but not terrible here, sort of.
And
the snow melted a few years ago.
From the Ice Age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was. I grew up near Chicago, so I know what all that crap's about.
The Windy City.
Yeah, I would say plus the wind there is just like nuts. So. I used to, when I was in radio, the radio station I was at was on Lakeshore Drive, which is right by Lake Michigan. And this was a huge building, it used to be called Standard Oil, big white, tall, 70, 80 story building by Grant Park. And you'd come up I took the train from Gary, the South Shore, and you'd walk up these steps and the stairs as you were going up faced north, and the wind would just blow. You'd go up one step and get pushed down 2. I mean, it was like getting in all my cardio trying to get up the steps and then walk into that building outside. And I mean, I'm not a very heavy guy, so it was like just taking me away, and I was like, man. CGC says strong thunderstorms. Yeah, there's a lot of strong thunderstorms around the Midwest and Tennessee and Indiana and Illinois, and yeah, some real, supercell kind of shit going on. It seems like Tornado Alley has shifted a little bit east. It's moving into Tennessee and the mid Tennessee Valley now, Kentucky. It pretty well had stopped more at Kansas and Oklahoma borders, the east border, but now it seems like it's shifted to the east a little more.
Oh, I'm from southwestern Nebraska. We got
okay.
two. I remember 2 tornado warnings near McCook back when I was a teenager. So got a tornado close to us, I guess, where I lived.
Yeah, right. I got you. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I can't change the weather. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, hello, Renza. How's it going? Anybody wants to come up, like I said, you're more than welcome. I know it's Friday night. Patrick's got his thing going, and I'm not going to stay on a long time, but so today's the end of March. So that means it's the end of Q1. And this means it's the end of the quarter when Mobile Fidelity's new pressing plant was supposed to be pumping out records.
Really?
Well, guess who's not pumping out records? And I'm, whatever the reason might be, but the thing that's interesting about their what they are doing, because they're called Fidelity Record Pressings, is they took guys from RTI. The guy that was the plant manager from RTI is setting up this new plant. So I don't know if he went to work for them wholly or if they're sharing him or whatever. So, when you read their press release, it reads like it's going to be some huge innovation going on there. And to me, that I start to think of more computer controlled, pressing methods and all sorts of things. Because, you go in these other places and I mean, the equipment is older equipment that's been maintained, which is fine. But, so I don't know quite where that'll be. And I'm trying to get out to California to go look at these places. I mean, I know where they're located and they're about 17 miles from RTI, the new MFSL plant. So, and then Funko acquired Mondo and announced that they're going to put together like a 60 or 70,000 square foot pressing plant for Mondo. So the concern when they got bought was, what's going to happen with them, but it looks like they're really going to invest in them, which is good. So
I've never heard of Mondo.
What is my opinion of the Beatles from Liverpool Japanese box set? The crate. Do you mean this crate?
Oh, cool. Beatles box.
Just yeah, so it's really great. Here's the thing about it. It's not that expensive. It's 8 albums and it's chronological by when they were recorded.
Cool.
And it has unique takes on some of the songs, like a hi-hat hit at the beginning to intro it. And I Love Her has an extra acoustic guitar riff at the end. So it has a few unique things. On a scale of 1 to 10, with a UK OG being a 10, these are probably an 8. They're pretty good, actually. They're not, they're pretty good. But they're not, the top end. But this set you can get for probably $100 or less. Yeah. It's got 8 albums in it. So yeah, I think it's a great value. I think it really gives you some unique. And what I really like about it the most, honestly, guys, is the fact that when you put it on, it's in dead ass sequence of the way they made the stuff. And I really like that because you run into problems with that on both the UK side and on the US side a little bit, where this is it flows very nicely. So if you really wanted to hear their evolution, you know what I mean? It's very well orchestrated, and you get a lot of songs per side. You get 8 or 10 songs per side. So it's a great value. If I saw another one in a shop and it was reasonable, I'd buy another one. To be honest with you, I would buy another one. And mine is Japanese. They came out in, I guess, a few different countries release them. I guess they were like a mail order thing through a magazine or something like that. But
so that Japanese version must sound pretty good.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. It does. It does sound pretty good. I mean, it sounds better than the DMM cuts that I got, recently of a couple of their albums. That's for sure. So like I said, yeah, it's pretty good. Now, one thing I scored this week that I haven't got in my hands yet, but a friend of mine found it and asked me if I wanted it, and I did, was the UHQR of Sgt. Pepper's from '82, the Beatles UHQR Mobile Fidelities.
Yeah, I knew they did that.
Yeah, and I've got UHQRs from that genre, but I didn't. Somehow I missed that one when it came out. I don't know why or how I missed it. But I know it went pretty quick, but somehow I guess the store I was dealing with didn't get it in, or something happened, because I was collecting them back then, because I bought several copies of like Dark Side of the Moon. I bought a couple copies of Crime of the Century, and I sold a few of those to help pay for kids' college. Yeah, $50 album you're selling for $1,200-$1,500. So
hey, I was pretty young back when I was only about 10 years old when MFSL was first around or something.
Mm-hmm.
But did they sell those Nautilus and Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab at high-end record stores? I was wondering.
Yeah, they sold them more at high-end audio stores.
Audio stores. That's what I thought.
Yes, audio stores. Hi, Rachel. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. So yeah, they sold them more at those kind of stores.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Now, occasionally Sound Warehouse would get them in, which was kind of in Houston, at least, it was kind of the big record store in the region.
I've been to one of those in Denver a long time ago. Sound Warehouse.
Yeah. And they also had Cactus, I think, was a big one in Denver. I remember going to Cactus Records a lot. And so, I mean, yeah, so they generally came out more in those audiophile shops. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Most of mine say Audio Trends, which was the high-end audio place in Houston I used to hang around at. I mean, I'd be in there so much. I mean, they'd have their Mobile Fidelities come in, get brought in at the front, where they shipped them in, and they'd open the box and I'd pick out of them before they ever even got in the rack.
Cool.
So
cool.
So yeah, I don't know what got me started on them. It was just a curiosity. But man, I can remember when the first one I held up to the light and I realized this was this translucent vinyl. I'm like, what the hell?
I want to show you something. Yep. Be right back.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. So yeah,
I have two second wave from the mid '90s.
Oh yeah.
I bought these before the internet was around, or mail ordered them.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
It says Anadis 200 on the back.
That means it was from the late '90s, probably.
I think this came out in mid-95 or 96.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anadisc. That was that's a 200. That's a 200 gram record.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just before the ultra analog came out. Yeah. It was just before that came out. It was just before they went broke.
Special limited edition. Well, I can't read that very well.
The MSRP Cahabatunas was $16.95. $16.95 is what they were. Because I've got plenty of them with stickers on them still.
I ordered those from a company out of Boston, Massachusetts. I worked at Harvard Square Records.
Oh yeah.
They used to specialize in sealed and cutout albums. I used to get their catalogs a long time ago.
Yeah, because the what we had, I mean, that's a college town. I mean, so there was a lot of a lot of that going on, right? So Harvard Square. You remember Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers?
Oh, my dad. Yeah.
Yeah, on NPR.
I listened to them. Yeah.
Don't drive like my brother. Don't drive like my brother.
Those guys were, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Their lawyers were, Huey, Cheatham, and Howe or something like that.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, they were hilarious.
They were.
One of them passed away. I don't know if they both, but I know one of them passed away here a few
One
years
did,
ago.
yeah.
But they were an institution. They should have been an institution, but that's a whole different discussion. But they were, and I don't think they've syndicated them to play them or anything. I don't think they've done that, which is
Well, after that,
it's unfortunate.
after the brother died, they played some reruns, and now public radio doesn't play them anymore at all.
Yeah. Yeah, Rach, you're going through your BC-13? I mean, what I did? What I did in mine, Rach? I took the albums out as we talked, and I identified them by the dead wax. And then what I did is found that album and I put it in a category called BC-13 on Discogs, because I never could quite find a box that had them identified all correctly. So I just went ahead and put the individual albums by the dead wax in, and then I put them in a category called BC-13. So when I pick that category, they all show up together. Yeah, because I was struggling to find quite the right combination, and like I said, I think they put those together with whatever was available at that time when they put the actual ones together for mass market, and so it wasn't stuff made specially for that. It was kind of like inventory clearance kind of stuff, I guess I'd call it, for lack of a better way of putting it. Can't interact right now. Just trying to... Earth, Wind, and Fire. Which Earth, Wind, and Fire is it, by the way? Yeah, it sounds good. Good strategy. Was that available to others looking in on Discogs? Both, Rachel. It was for both. It was for both. I could do it on my own, and they could see it that way. I definitely did it for my own use, of course. That was the reason for it, really. Malia, she's in here. Hi, guys. How are you? You skipped by me there. I'm sorry I missed you. You're looking good in that photo. Which, let's see. Yeah, Discogs category.
Malay's
the
a heavy metal fan for sure.
Oh, yeah, to say the least.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you got to know your lane, right?
Yeah.
So I'm meeting up with a guy this weekend who lives, I think, near Lubbock. He's coming into town because I think his kids are going to the Taylor Swift concert, as are 4 of my kids, and well, 3 of my kids and 1 son-in-law actually, and so we're going to meet up on Sunday. And then he is going to provide me a copy of Donald Fagen's The Nightfly One Step for me to do a shootout on.
Didn't you do that? You did that already, didn't you?
I didn't have a one step though.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I didn't do the. I'm gonna do one with the one step now that I'm gonna have a copy to compare it to.
Okay.
Because I don't have one, and the other good thing of that is it as good as they say it is? If it, I want to buy one. If it's as good as they say it is, I will. If I'm not impressed, then it's going to save me some money, I guess.
I showed you my copy of the original MFSL the Nightfly last week.
Yep. Yeah, and I've got one. That's what I've got. I've got one of those. I've got a German. I got a Japanese. I got a European. I got a Swedish. I got like 7 or 8 of them. I have a lot, and they're all good. I mean, they're all decent. Let's put it that way. But the MoFi is the best of the ones I have. But I've also got a 5.1 channel SACD of it as well.
Don't you have enough copies of it?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Sorry.
Did you review that Stones box? I did not review it because it literally is still sealed. It literally came in the mail today. So I haven't even opened it, to be honest with you. I just bought it the other day. I think I mentioned it went down to like $2.91. And I saw somebody put it on Reddit, and that's when I grabbed it. So haven't even broken the seal. So it's been a little bit of you know, there's more albums coming in right now than I can handle. It just seems like I've been on a little bit of a spree. So, but I'm interested. I'm definitely interested to hear it. So it's a mixed bag in your opinion. Yeah. Well, okay. There you go. Yeah, I heard some of the later stuff, I guess, is better, I guess, in a couple of reviews that I saw. But, you know, to be honest with you, that goes along, in my mind, at least, with their recording process. I mean, I think their earlier stuff's kind of rough, in my opinion. And so to me, it kind of makes sense. But to be honest with you, everything that I have of the Stones so far is stereo. So
Cool.
for me, it's going to be a new, you know, I say new, I mean, I bought 45s when they were, I can remember get off my cloud, man. My turntable, my record player had trouble playing it because it was so, yeah, it was so intense.
I've heard that song. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
You get off of my cloud.
Let It Bleed is the best sounding. Yeah, and I think you're not the first person I've heard say that, to be honest with you. So that's good. I don't really have a lot of yes, Malia, I always save the live streams. Hopefully David won't do anything naughty that I have to not save it. But...
No.
Oh, he already did. Sorry. Anyway, no. That's okay. Has anyone heard the Chris Bellman reissue of Nightfly? I don't know. I don't think so. Was that released in the last year? Was that released in the last year?
Well, you'll have to look at Discogs. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I'll get one. I might as well add it to the stable of the. Yeah, it's a competition for me between the Nightfly and Can't Buy a Thrill. How many copies? David's show is not insane like someone else's line stream you could mention. Yeah, well, yeah, we won't mention any crazy live streams that are on in the morning, starting at 8 a.m. Central. But released in the last 2 years. Okay. Well, I'm going to look it up and work to acquire it. That's for sure. Yeah, because if I'm going to, I want to do as good of a shootout as I can on that.
750.
Any final thoughts on the DSO team? Well, let me put it to you this way. It hasn't hit my turntable again since I finished my evaluation. I've put it back in the box. I closed the box, and I just was not impressed by it, to be honest with you. They're just, you know, I mean, like I think I said in the review, I mean, within the first 30 seconds of Money, there were some of the change dropping you couldn't really hear for some reason. It was so faint. And it was like, I mean, it was literally like in my mind, like a tape dropout, like what the hell happened? But when the second one happened, I realized, you know, it wasn't a tape thing because it wouldn't happen twice in a row. So you know, and it hurts me to say it. I paid good money for it, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing I'd like to say more than, this beats the pants off, you know, the 30th, and it beats the pants. I'd love, that'd be great, but it doesn't. It doesn't even beat the pants off the 2016, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I was right. Our Walmart right here has I think it's a dark, because I seen it, Dark Side of the Moon, Wembley. So
the white one. That's a live one. Yeah, the white one. Yeah,
that's Walmart has a live one.
And I honestly haven't listened to that yet. That's in the set. I honestly just haven't pulled it out. And part of the reason is, and I think I've told this to people, I'm not a huge fan of live albums generally. I've just got to be in the right mood to listen. I know what you mean, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a few, like Stop Making Sense by Talking Heads, which, by the way, is up for pre-order. It's a double album, so it includes more songs than the original. Oh. And that is a fabulous album that is live, and you almost can't tell it's live. And there actually is a movie that they did of that at the same time they released. Mm-hmm. That I remember. I remember going to the theater to watch it.
I've never seen that, actually.
I went and it was a show at like 11:30 at night at a theater, and next to us at midnight they were playing Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm.
And about halfway through the Stop Making Sense, that theater erupted, and we couldn't hardly hear the Stop Making Sense. It was kind of crazy. So so just putting a bow on that Music Sanctuary. I know they don't offer that album individually, but I wouldn't even suggest buying it if you could get it for $30. I wouldn't. I mean, I just think the 2016 sounds better to me. So, like I said, I had a defective one. I've got to take mine back Monday. My 2016 had some bubbles in it, but it sounded fine. Otherwise, that was just a pressing defect. So, yeah, unfortunately, that sometimes happens. That's part of the deal. So, I will definitely do a review of the Mobile Fidelity UHQR of Sergeant Pepper against my UK copy and my BC13 and my Mobile Fidelity copy, my standard Mobile Fidelity in the collection set. So definitely will do a shootout on that, because I don't know if anybody's ever done a shootout. I've never seen one, but
I don't mean to be a music snob. I never see. I like looking for I like looking for used records at rummy sales,
sure.
secondhand stores. I don't find foreign. I got maybe 2 Canadian pressings, but I don't find UK pressings down Midwest.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't seek to order them online, whatever either. So
hell, I was in the UK 3 weeks ago, and I had trouble finding UK presses. So I think they're all in Japan, actually, from what a friend of mine was in Japan a few weeks ago.
This is I found a state sale last summer. I didn't pick them up. I actually found 2 Chinese or Japanese. I should have picked them up. I did Japanese pressings of an album. Wow.
Yeah. Now, listen to the DST on Blu-ray. Amazing on full range system. Yeah, I have the multi-channel of that. And I have, I think, the one Analog Productions released. And what other one? Yeah, I have Immersion as well. But again, I mean, the vinyl, it's kind of apples and oranges a bit. So I tend to want to compare the optical disc to the optical disc, and then the vinyl to because they're kind of obviously mastered differently. But yeah, I realize that the full concert is on that one, because it's only, I guess, like half the concert on this release that came out now, which is a little bit, just seems crazy to me. I don't know why they would do that. That just doesn't make sense to do a expensive set like that. That they could have said, they're going to release that, on the standalone that way. But then if you bought the set, you get them both. So they incentivize people, to buy the set. There weren't a lot of incentives to buy the set. I only bought one because I didn't have a previous anniversary set. So my reasons were, pretty much just around that. So anyway, Mondo is going to, I guess, through now Funko that bought them, they're going to build a pressing plant. So that should mean that there's going to be
those
more
Funko Pops things.
Pardon me?
That's what I'm doing, those Funko Pops figurines?
Yeah. Mondo does like special pressings and that kind of weird stuff that they press.
You're talking about music.
Music. Right? Yeah. Let's see. I wonder how the essay came out recently compares it to Dolby Atmos in the 50th. Yeah, I don't. Is the SACD though? Is that a multi-channel, Renzo, that you're talking about? As Rachel would say, comment below. In the comments, just so yeah. But the Atmos, I haven't. I haven't played any of the optical discs that are in there right now. My first goal was to check out the vinyl, and so once I did that and kind of went, I kind of now the book that's in there, which I heard that you could get separately. I haven't seen it, but it's really nice. It's well done. The book's really good. I'll give them that. But when you look at the price of the set, it's a hell of an expensive book. Really, I think you're paying for the multi-channel stuff in there a lot. That's the biggest real. I mean, that's a lot of what that's about. So, and I'll have to take my time to. Yeah, it's 5.1 for the SACD. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've heard the Atmos is really well done. I've heard it's better than the first Parsons quad mix, which was really pretty stellar. So I'd be definitely would be interested to hear it as well. But I just too many irons in the fire kind of thing, right? You got a real job still, part time at least, but so just too many things to go after. Because I'm working to get my system set up to where I have an exact duplicate of everything. I have a duplicate of the turntable, the cartridge, the phono stage, the amp, and then I'm just going to be able to switch back and forth on the fly when I'm doing these things. Kind of like Chad does in his office. So I mean, he's got some very expensive stuff though, I know. Let's see what he's saying here. You don't have an SACD, okay. Okay. Yeah, I have SACD. I've got an Oppo, so it does everything pretty much. It doesn't do Atmos, that's separate, but other than that, Atmos didn't exist when that was made, so I haven't listened to this album in probably 5 years. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Which one is it? Which album is it? Is it That's the Way of the World or Greatest Hits, or which one is it? I saw them in concert with Chicago in 2011. They played together. That was a great show. They played their stuff independently, and then they came together on some stuff.
I'd have to. I think I Am album might be from '79. I forget.
Oh, I Am Mine. Okay, it's I Am Mine. Sorry.
The album's just called I Am.
Oh, I Am. Okay. He capitalized mine. Yeah, I Am. Okay. Yeah. I don't know that album very well, to be honest with you.
I should ask. I'm going to ask Matt something.
Yeah, go ahead. That is one album I can't say that I recall any songs off of it off the top of my head. And it's a MoFi. Okay. What did I ordered? What did I order? Yes, I ordered One of These Nights, One Step by the Eagles. I finally broke down and ordered that. So After the Love Is
That's
Gone.
from '79.
Used to be right is wrong. That's a great song.
Boogie Wonderland off the album.
Boogie Wonderland. Oh, that's a great. See, it reminds me of Caddyshack when Rodney Dangerfield is there at the club and they say, "Play some music, Ringo." And then he dances with that old lady and he says, "Oh, you must have been something before electricity," you know.
Rodney Dangerfield. That was a crazy movie. Caddyshack.
Yeah, I love Caddyshack.
Chevy Chase or Bill Murray and the Beaver.
Oh, the gopher. Actually. Gopher. Got one of those Oppos, yeah. Yeah, Oppo went out of business and their equipment went out the roof on prices. I mean, it's just unbelievable crazy. So, yeah, it definitely is crazy. Let's see.
David might know that question. Prime Analog Records.
What's the question?
Lead guitar.
I'm looking at another screen right now. Okay. Sorry.
Skunk Back. I don't know who.
Probably Jeff Skunk Baxter is what I would guess.
I was thinking.
They have so many artists on their albums. It's just nuts. Crazy. You look up Asia, and I think there's, let's see, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 engineers involved in Asia. 11
Really?
engineers. Yep. And I think half of them are women.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean,
No,
they just had a very intense recording process.
yeah, I know about music producers, but I never think about the engineers on LPs, I guess. You know.
Well, they're the ones who are sliding the console mixes
Okay.
to, they're the ones who are making the decisions on how it's going to sound and what's going to go right, left, center,
Gotcha.
what's going to sound louder than something else. And the producers putting together the
Well,
musicians and,
yeah.
the approach for the songs and this orientation on the disc of what order they're going to be in and all that crap. But the engineers are totally, they're basically doing the mixing, essentially. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Gotcha.
why the guy that did Thriller, there were 196 different tracks recorded for that.
Holy crap.
Individual.
Jeez.
And if you listen to like the song Thriller and there's all those sound effects, like the steps and the doors
Yep.
and all that, they were all recorded in stereo. So each one of those took up 2 tracks. Usually that's done with a single mono track and then they'll move it. But he had that recorded in stereo, and that's why it has that deeper effect to it. And that's why
I used to have that album. I don't anymore.
no,
I think.
I got a few of those. I guess it was Jay Graydon. Somebody said,
Yeah,
here.
I seen that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The players, I mean, PS3 plays them. Yeah. That's just it. Yeah. I mean, it's the DAC too. It's the DAC that's in it that's going to make the difference, Oh, now he says, oh, I might have 2. Jay in an interview said he didn't even know that his solo was chosen since so many tried out for it. And he only found out when he heard it on the radio. Yeah, well, there you go. That's the thing. They did so many sessions and so many pieces, and that's why they had so many engineers, because it was kind of an a la carte build when they built the songs up. Yeah, definitely was. Got to get him up there sometime. Where's Prime Analog at? Where's he located?
He's in Florida.
He's in Florida. That's a big.
You have to ask, possibly Miami, maybe.
PS3. Yeah. I mean, considering that it kind of just comes with it, so to speak.
Okay, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Give you some advance notice. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like not in the winter. Thank you. I don't know, Dave. I think you'd probably like Florida more.
Yeah. No, I meant get Matt up here on your show.
On the show. Oh, I thought you meant come to Wyoming. Oh.
No, I meant on your show.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When you said up here, I like, see, up here, way up here, Wyoming's up there, especially from California. So, yeah. So MoFi hasn't started its plant yet. And so I'm trying to get in touch with the guy there to go visit in April. And I also contacted the guy in Denver today with Vinyl Me Please about their new plant going in, because I've got some travel planned there. So I'm trying to follow up on what's going on these plants that have been kind of in the works for, MoFi announced theirs, I think, June 22nd of last year, like a month before the big debacle hit. So that's when it hit. And so that's, I say more or less the last we've heard about it.
Albums.
Certainly all of Steely Dan's album are Frankenstein albums.
Whatever that means.
That means a piece here and a part there, and yeah, like putting them together, right? You know, different body. It's different information parts.
Okay. I never heard that before.
It is being built in Denver. It's right near the intersection of Interstate 75 and 25 in Denver.
Oh, cool, really?
Yeah. 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 So I don't have any thoughts on that. I'm not big into jazz, so I'm probably not the no Thriller 45 anything soon, man. Oh, okay, what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know where they would intend to press it, but I mean, the question is, how many of the 40,000 did they sell? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get it, frankly, because I think the OG beat the. But they were built differently. I mean, they were mastered differently. They were just the approach. I don't think was quite the same on them, and they're going to take the exact, probably the more or less, you know, the exact same data, of course. And they'll get a little bit out of the 45. I mean, in terms of some basic sonic opportunity. But the problem is, I think the way they mastered it was a little bit for sonics as opposed to the danceability of the music, you know, which is really what it, you know, it's just two different approaches, you know. There was one of the albums I wouldn't want in a 45. Well, I don't want it in a 45. So I'm.
See, I guess I'm behind on stuff. I didn't realize they were putting out, what is it, Analog Productions or MFSL have been putting albums on 45 records recently.
Well, yeah, UHQRs out of Analog Productions have been 45 RPMs.
That's
and
interesting.
then MoFi's been doing it for a while. Even before One Steps, they were doing it. And then they they have like Brothers in Arms is a 2x45. It's a regular album, but it's like $60. It's not a One Step. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So, and you do, I mean, there's opportunity to gain some sonics there because of the fact that you don't have to cut nearly as close to the center of the disc, and the velocity and the linear tracking of that across that being faster, you get more information. So the opportunities there. Yeah.
I learn something new every day.
Yeah, the opportunity is definitely there. Pre-ordered the MoFi on every street to complete my album set, and this is okay. There you go. Yeah, that one. That's they needed to do it for completest approach. I mean, that album is not one of the better ones in my opinion, but I wasn't surprised to see it come up because I think they were kind of like Chad's doing with Steely Dan, doing the catalog more or less.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I heard about that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks a lot. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that very much, Prime Analog. It was, it was kind of a reflection. Some of those things I hadn't thought about in a long time, and I just was thinking about them, and I was going to do a video on them, and I said, it's something I can just, do in voice and do it in a podcast. And so, yeah, it was just little things that I recalled. It's like it's weird how things happen. So I think I told you guys I bought this at the show, and this was one of the first records I ever bought in '63. And this is the Brunswick one. This is from Germany. It's not the Decca one from the U.S.
United States.
Cool. And then sure enough, today I'm at Josie Records in Dallas, which is a big store, but it's the new one that's up in McKinney, and they had the Decca one. Now it wasn't in as good a shape, so I didn't pick it up. But it's kind of funny. I didn't see this album for like 60 years, almost 57 years, and then all of a sudden I see it twice in 2 weeks. It's kind of like it's like.
I have four for Ricky Nelson on Imperial Records, original
Yeah,
ones.
the early stuff. Yeah,
Two. These are supposed to be supposed. I have two stereo ones, supposed to be rarer, maybe.
yeah, yeah. A
Ricky
lot of
Nelson.
them were mono. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. The the thing about the ones that were on, I guess it was Imperial
Yes,
Records. I guess
Imperial.
they if you looked at the back cover, they all looked the same. They had like a square box in the middle
You're
that
right.
had the songs, and then it had writing around it. But they
Exactly.
all the layout of them was exactly the same.
Same.
And
Yeah.
even this album, there's another one that it's got the same picture, but it's a different album. Got the exact same photo on. I just saw it in my collection. I'm like, that's weird. Not that they I guess they're cutting corners, right? When an album's $2.99, I guess you can do.
Yeah, I like collecting all the teen idol stuff from the late 50s or 60s, 45 records and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The I'll never forget the flip side of that song. He had a song on here called For You, and it was like
I have that 45 record for you.
Yeah, it was number 6, I think, in 63, October of 63, which,
Yes.
a month before Kennedy got assassinated. And the backside of that is called That's All She Wrote. And that is a great B-side, but they didn't make never got flipped as a single, but it's a really good B-side. And the other one is The Very Thought of You it was the same timing, The Very Thought of You and Fools Rush In, I think, was the other one. So
I'm gonna leave for a second.
Sure. Everything chronologically. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was. And that's what's funny you say that, because I mean, that's what's funny about this set here is everything on it is chronological the way they recorded it, which I think is really nice because, the US, the early albums were so mixed up in terms of the way they got released in the US compared to Britain. So, I mean, it really, that's what I really love about that collection. Plus, it's reasonably priced. So that's not a bad thing, too. So, yeah, it was just kind of a brain dump, of kind of going through. And I started remembering stuff that, was relevant that was going on at the time. And I mean, the whole thing to me about, the Beatles and the Kennedy assassination, it just seems like nobody really brings that up. But living through it and going through the emotion of it and the change in emotion that happened is what I remember about it. I mean, it was several months before, it was a month and a half, whatever, before they came on Ed Sullivan. So, but the music got released there on Christmas Eve, the first I Want to Hold Your Hand. And just, the whole everything, I can remember, people were talking about that, all through, like, once Christmas hit and before New Year's, that was all people were talking about. Did you hear this music? Did you hear this song? Did you hear that? It was just like constantly. And it just changed the subject, literally changed the subject on a dime from everybody being in a funk, which is what was kind of going on. And it's understandable. So the Beatles, the impact of the Beatles, in that regard is something that is, I say, a little bit magical that happened, which goes well beyond any discussion of their voices or their writing style or their, management or any of that crap. It really had a bigger, different. Hey, there's Novus Nick. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. How's restaurant life treating you? David, oh, he went away. I thought he was just walking away for a minute. I'm not gonna mute the camera. I'm just gonna go. Okay. No problem. So, so hopefully I will, my plan is to try to get some contacts going because of these pressing plant openings and figure out, no problem, David, to get these pressing plants going and figure out when they're really going to open and what's really going on. And then, I don't know when the Mondo thing's going to, where they're planning on building a plant. They just got bought out. So it's fresh, right? Restaurants are unpredictable. Yeah. Yeah, I have a theory in restaurants sometimes. It's like I'm going to get the worst service. I don't know why. It's kind of like I'll sit down and then two other tables will get sat down and they will get waited on before me. It's just like I don't know what it is. Um, and I used to, it used to really tick me off and I'd say something, but over time, I think my family wanted to disown me. Like, yeah. So let's see. I was 1 year. I still remember all the chaos and the loop over and over and over, the black and white. Yeah. 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 The Zapruder film and all that. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when it was a big deal when TV shows were in color. They'd have, in living color, the NBC Peacock. That was why they had the Peacock because of the colors and and then, The Wizard of Oz would come on once a year on CBS around Thanksgiving. The beginning of it was black and white and the rest of it was in color. And, the things that you would only see once a year, big events, now you can just throw it on whenever you want or stream it whenever you want or whatever. Different world. How can we keep up on the brand? Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's crazy. You can't. It's like somebody mentioned earlier, Fagan's Nightfly, but Chris Bellman Master. I'm like, I missed that. I don't know when that happened in the last couple of years. I got to go look it up now because I definitely want to have one to compare to because I'm going to be getting a Nightfly one step to borrow from somebody to listen to do a shootout with. So, and this person already sent me a Fleetwood Mac Kendon pressing an OG of the self-titled Fleetwood Mac because the one I had wasn't Kendon. It didn't sound it didn't sound that great to me. And then he asked if it was this Kendon, and I said no. So he sent me it, and it did sound better. It did, but I still think the MoFi sounds the best to me on that particular self-titled album. And it's dead quiet too. The other thing, it's really a quiet vinyl, which that aspect of things I really appreciate, especially in quieter songs. I guess I'm very averse to surface noise or to noise floor issues. I guess I'm oversensitized to it, I guess. But yeah, you can't keep up, Nick. I mean, it's a frenzy. I started trying to collect like different color albums of different things. Today I got got the yellow version from Amazon of that Aurora album by Daisy Jones and the 6 from that TV show on Amazon Prime called Daisy Jones and the 6. Here's Dave.
Again.
That's okay. No problem. Just want to make sure you hadn't headed off to Florida.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Too bad they aren't pressing the for it.
Yeah, let me see. Private chat comments.
Yeah. There you go. There's the old Imperial logo up there. And there's that block. Yep. It's got the block of songs, and then it's got text around it talking about the album. And
Oops.
Oh, I got that. Yeah, I got that one too. Yep. That's got Poor Little Fool on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yep. Great album. There you go. Same format. Really creative.
I got stereo pressing.
Oh, I hadn't seen that one in a long time.
There you go.
There you go. Same thing. You got to give it to them. They were consistent.
Got stereo pressing of this one. Ricky's 21.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it was like they followed his life. I mean, he was making records every 9 months, 7 mons, whatever. Yeah, that was different. Yeah. They had the TV show Ozzie and Harriet. I mean, it was a big thing. And then I'll never forget when he married gal Christine from Muncie, Indiana. Everybody in Indiana.
Harmon.
Yep, the Carmen. Yeah,
the Mark Harmon.
Right. Yep. Right. Exactly. Well, their dad was Tom Harmon, who was a football player, I think, and he went to school, and Tom went to school with my parents.
Oh, really?
in
Cool.
Gary, Indiana. So it's
Cool.
a small world.
Tom Harmon. Yeah.
Small world. Yeah, that self-titled. I wish they were. I mean, I've got Rumors on in 45 RPM, and it sounds unbelievable. I mean, it's night and day difference. So was that a quick spec? Was that a Palace pressing on that one? Because the Rumors one, it has that gold hype sticker. Some of them say pressed at Palace in the center, and a lot of them don't. And so you got to make sure you get the ones that say pressed at Palace, because they had a special sticker for there. But I don't know. Palace does really good work. Yeah, I need to get back with Kai Siemens from Speaker's Corner, because I see they're re-releasing some stuff that they hadn't released in a while. So maybe they're getting some renewals on some agreements, which is good, because he had no new contracts to press anything this year when I talked to him in November.
I've heard about that company, Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, they're very good.
Best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you can still get them right now. They're like, but I don't know if they're pressed at Palace. That's the only thing. Yeah, it's Palace and Bernie Grumman. So even the ones that don't say pressed at Palace or Palace, I just wasn't sure, because all of a sudden that disappeared from the sticker. You think about it's available right now.
Oh, cool.
I think it's very good for that album. It's very good. It's not one of my favorite albums, but it's very well done. Yeah, I've had that album. I gifted it to somebody, but I had the MoFi of it. I thought it was very good. Very well done. Yeah, they are available on Music Direct and MoFi right now. Yeah, usually Speaker's Corner is good. I mean, it's not 1,000%, but they're not nearly as expensive as some of the others either. So you believe it's still pressed at Palace too? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The ones I bought two of them, to tell you the truth, because I was afraid they were going to disappear. And I think Mike has them at the In Groove, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're like $50 for the. I mean, here's the thing: if you like that album, that's the pressing to have. If you like Rumors, that 45 RPM is definitely the pressing to have.
Oh,
you
cool.
will hear things you never heard before, guaranteed. Yeah, that is true. I think that is, everybody's being a little more, I think, picky in general. And I've it's like I've gone both. It's the whole thing, like with MoFi. I still. I say I have mixed emotions. I don't, in a way. I mean, my emotion typically is, hey, yeah, what they did was really wrong, but at the same time, I don't want to tank a company that's trying to provide high quality products, and I don't believe that doing what they did in and of itself is a betrayal. I think not talking about it and being honest is the betrayal, if there's any. But I think trying to preserve that data on a high res capability, like 4 times oversampling DSD, is smart given the condition of tapes. So I ordered One of These Nights by the Eagles on the One Step because I like that album a lot. I didn't get On the Border because I don't like it. So yeah, MoFi is still pressing some very good products. That's true.
Yeah,
that
cool.
is true. I mean, that's exactly true. But just like before, even in the analog time, there were some that were better than others. I mean, that always happens. Yeah. Yeah, Jerry, thanks. Yeah. I mean, I can't. It's as distinct a value gain as you got, like for me at least, with the UHQR of Can't Buy a Thrill, and it was $150. So I mean, it's like I said, if you like that album, that's a great value at $50. That's all I can say. And not, like I said, other than having to get up more frequently to change the record, other than that, it's. But there's like, I had a commenting conversation with somebody about, I said something about ELO El Dorado. And I said, to me, that's not an album that I want to see split up, because there's a flow, because it's a concept album. And I just, for me, concept albums, you don't split.
No.
It's kind of like what used to happen on 8-tracks, where half of a song would fade out and fade in, because it ran out of tape loop.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So that's why I say some of those I just can't quite, go with that. It would be like, it just doesn't make sense. Some of the Alan Parsons stuff is that way too, a little bit, where it flows and you don't want to see it broken up. So, I don't know. How do I put it? There's a point at which you got to respect the artwork or the art of the music that they've done, more than trying to eke out, that last little drip of water out of that wash rag to make it sound a little better. So, yeah.
I guess I'm too much of a cheapskate. Those UHQR albums are pretty high priced, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're either, if they're 33, they're 100. If they're 45, they're 125. And then in the case of Steely Dan, they're 150. And the reason in the Steely Dan, it's purely about the contract. It's purely about what he had to pay for making that signing. It's not that we get more material. It's not any of that. It was a much bigger investment, money up front,
I wish they were cheaper. Oh, well,
yeah. There's Jerry. Yeah, absolutely. There's no sequencing issues whatsoever on something like, Rumors, something where there just are individual songs. There's no problem. In a 99.9% albums, there's no problem. But there just are certain ones that I just I can't see that. It doesn't work for me. And I wasn't really that impressed with the El Dorado super vinyl out of MoFi, the 33 1/3. I wasn't that impressed with it. The noise floor was great with the super vinyl, but I don't know. I'm not exactly the greatest recording, I don't think, in the first place. So that never helps, right? So
that's pretty recent, isn't it? El Dorado?
Yeah.
Company
with MFSL, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it came out in the last year and a half, I'd say. Yeah.
Cool.
And I think Out of the Blue is coming, and that's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to Out of the Blue coming out on a one step.
Oh, that's a good 2-record set.
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-record set. Now I don't know if they're releasing it at 33 to be a 2-record set, or if they're going to release it at 45 and make it a 4-record set. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, it's going to be $150 then, because of the extra discs, if not 175, frankly. So I don't think they can justify the cost. I just got hold of the OG Out of the Blue vinyl, which was very limited when it came out. I just got that a couple weeks ago.
Was the blue vinyl a DJ copy possibly?
No, it wasn't a DJ.
Okay.
I don't think it was a DJ copy, but it was a very limited. I'm not saying, how do I put it? I'm not saying they may not have had them in DJ copies. I'm saying that it wasn't exclusive to DJ copies.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
That's what I thought I
read.
Yeah. But let me put it this way, Jay. If it was, there's nothing about it that indicates that on the record or on the jacket or anything. Yeah. So, Out of the Blue I think is a very well recorded album. So, a lot of yellows actually are. El Dorado, I don't know. Maybe I wore mine out. I did a thesis paper in high school on El Dorado, believe it or not. I still have that paper.
thesis.
Yeah, like a thesis on what it was about and the connection with the cover of the Wizard of Oz, and the whole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my teacher's like, "You chose that to write on? You're got to be kidding me." Like, I'm like, "Hey, it's all I know.
Yeah.
Music. Sorry." You know.
Yeah, they show. I don't have the album, but they show Dorothy's shoe and the witch fingers on the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They do. Let's see if I.
You gotta find it.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's Hall and Oates, D.E., Daryl, D, Doobie Brothers. There's E.
Yep, there it is.
There we go.
Yep, scene from Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Super vinyl. See the sticker up there? It says super vinyl in the corner.
Original master recording. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Number 9040. This is a good one too. This is Discovery Half Speed Master, $10.99 at Sound Warehouse.
Cool. Sound Warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah, back in Houston when I lived in Houston.
And that has a "Don't Bring Me Down," "Channel of Love," "Confusion," "Last Train to Love," "London," "The Diary of
Horace Wimp. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a pretty good ELO album with Olivia Newton-John.
I used to have that album too.
Yeah, it's a good sounding album.
ELO has some good songs inside.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the movie. Yeah.
There's a speaker's corner of
Oh, cool. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. And there's a speaker's corner of the Doobie Brothers, Captain and Me. There's a Super Nautilus of the Captain and Me.
Cool.
Captain and Me is one of my favorite albums. And then, of course, back to our topic, The Night Fly by Fagan on Mobile Fidelity. Love it. I love that album. So, and there's a Japanese version of it.
Cool.
So now here's another one that if you don't have it, the Dire Straits Brothers in Arms and the 2x45 is fabulous. It's a little better than the original RL pressing. How is which Doobie Brothers Novus Nick? Do you mean the speaker's corner or do you mean the Nautilus?
Nautilus.
I've also got a quad of that one, but no, I don't have duplicates, Dave. Sorry.
I'm not that big of a fan of Dire Straits. I don't know.
No, Doobie Brothers, they was asking about.
Yeah, but you were showing. I know.
Yeah, you're not that. Yeah, I get it. I'm not a huge fan of them either, but I'm a huge fan of that recording.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. That recording is one of the best. It's a digital source, just like Fagan's is.
Money for Nothing, Walk of Life, and So Far Away. I know those songs.
Right. Yeah, those were their hits. Didn't you just show a note? No. Yeah, no, Nick, I didn't show a MoFi of it. I showed a super disc, a Nautilus, and a speaker's corner. Mm-hmm. Those are the two. I don't think MoFi ever released. Have they released any Doobie Brothers? I don't know that they've released any Doobie Brothers if I think about it for a minute. Yeah. No, it was a Super Nautilus disc, which is a half-speed master from the 80s, and then Speaker's Corner.
Nautilus is defunct now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a lot of them, that were there. I have been there, Big Nasty, and I live in Dallas, and unfortunately I can't make the May one. A bunch of us are going to meet for the October one. I know that, but the May one's, I got something going on that weekend, and I know I'm going to be in trouble if I don't remember what it was, but there's some reason I can't go to that, but I know there is a reason I can't go to it. They never remastered Xanadu. Yeah, I think you're right. Here's a man who's correct. Yes, Doobie Brothers, Captain and Me, because I have it. It is on SACD format, but not on vinyl. There's a MoFi vinyl of Taking It to the Streets. Oh, okay.
Could be. I mean,
All right. I didn't know that. I wonder if that was an Anadisc or not. Okay. But yeah, I like Taking It to the Streets. I liked Minute by Minute was well done. I've got a, I want to say it's a Nautilus of that one. I'm trying to remember.
that could be or one of those two.
I got too many records pushed back now. I can't even. As I pull them out, then they, they start disorienting themselves. Let's see, Dyer, Doobie, Daryl, Fagan. Oh, there it is. I knew I had it in there somewhere.
Another Nautilus, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a good sounding one.
I bet.
Yeah, that's a very good sounding one. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's about the size of it. Next big release. Boy, that's a generally a loaded question. What is the next big release that I know of? Big release.
Has those Van Halen MoFi came out?
Well, the Van Halens are going to be coming. The Eagles, to me, the Eagles Hotel California on One Step's the next big release to me. Yeah. That's going to be because the SACD is already out. They came out with that and the long run on SACD first, and now Hotel California should be next. And I know that they had the most back orders. Hotel California. It's kind of like Asia for the Doobie Brothers, right? Yeah. That's their seminal album.
Then you mentioned some Whitney Houston albums are going to be on.
Yes, Whitney Houston will be coming, but that's going to be later in the year.
Okay.
That'll be later in the year. They've already released it on Universal or whoever. I mean, the main line has already released it.
Cool.
But what's weird is like the Steely Dan, the Universal only released the first one. They didn't release the second one even yet. And I mean, they released that November 4th. They still haven't released the second album. It's kind of weird. I don't understand why. I thought they were going to be much closer in sequence to Chad releasing them. But that is a question I need to ask him. But I don't know if that's one of the reasons why Pretzel Logic's been held up. Is they can't get too far ahead? I don't know. There could be all sorts of idiosyncrasies in that contract. God only knows. That's for sure. I have the SAD, not the album. My next hunt. So yeah, Hotel California I'm looking forward to because I've never found a satisfactory pressing of that in my opinion. I really haven't. I'm beginning to wonder if it wasn't recorded that well, honestly, is what I'm beginning to wonder. I just, which then makes me wonder, well, what the hell's MoFi going to be able to do with it? I just get the impression it was not that well recorded or engineered or whatever. I mean, I haven't found, of all the copies I have of it, which are probably 5 or so, internationally, I've not found what I would call one that does it justice at all. And that's a little bit scary. Music Sanctuary. Do you have, I didn't know if you were, which SACD you were talking about here when you put that up, just because I'm kind of curious. Taking It to the Streets. Okay. You've got the SACD, but okay. Maybe you're talking about Taking It to the Streets. Yeah, I got to look that up. I didn't honestly realize if they released that on vinyl, to be honest with you.
Raw scam.
Oh, are you, Nick? I just saw one today. I just saw one at Josie Records today, literally. And it was, I don't know, $18, $15. It wasn't outrageous. I'll have to look. I'll be there Monday again, so I will look. If you want me to, I'll look for you. Try not to make a royal scam out of it. Something like that. But so yeah, Nick, I'll definitely go back to the Steely Dan section on Monday, and or if I run across one, yeah, I will look for you. I have no problem whatsoever. I will take a look for you. I love doing that, finding stuff. Still no pre-order for HC. HC? HC. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what HC. Help me out there. Sure, as soon as you tell me, I'm going to go, you know, but I just, it's not ringing. If you'd have said WH, I'd have known it was Whitney Houston. He's in an LP desert. I thought in the restaurant you'd be in an LP dessert, but anyway. So, yeah, I don't know what HC is, Music Sanctuary. I don't know why I'm.
David, I like that joke you did about Van Halen. You said, "Now I know why Jamie's crying."
Oh. I forgot I did that. Yeah.
Certain things stick in my head.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good memory because I remember it now that you said it, but I don't remember, you know what I mean? I don't remember planning to say it, just came out at the time.
We were on Chance's stream, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely like Joe Walsh. You can't argue with a sick mind. That's me. I mean, that's Joe Walsh titles are like my life, you know, the smoker you drink, the player you get, you know.
But seriously, folks.
Yes, but seriously, folks. I love that. Yeah, those kind of titles, I really like those kind of titles. They're crazy. But well, we're at 1 hour and 20, and I've got to do something here in about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna run. I'll keep you guys posted on the plant situation. I'm gonna put up a video on it because I've got some pictures of some of the sites I'll share with you guys, and let you know what I find out. So you all take care, and thanks for joining today. Thanks, Dave. Have a good evening. Hotel California. Aha. Yeah, I'm waiting for it too, buddy. Thanks a lot. Probably right. Take care, everybody. See ya.